Hello, everyone. Today on the podcast, me and Ruby are going to be doing some very small things, some micro transactions.
What about me?
Because
We're
I don't
not
do microtransactions.
trans.
I
I get it.
I will see myself out.
I don't know if I hate it more before getting it or after getting it. But we're here, unfortunately, for better or worse.
Welcome to the Just Gaming Tingz Podcast.
Oh boy.
A weekly show where we talk about gaming things. And we're queer.
We sure are. We are queer and we're here and sometimes against our will.
I'm Spin Blend. And with me, I have the lovely Koga Jangles.
Hello.
Hello. I'm sorry I couldn't include you in the goof.
I didn't catch it at first.
Maybe be trans next time. Jesus.
Be more trans.
I'm kidding.
I didn't think of that at first, and I'm pretty sure someone out there, I was not the only one that didn't catch that at
Oh,
first.
I didn't catch it at first at all. And I was a part of the goof.
See?
Oh
So how was I supposed to?
Also, the lovely Project Ruby. Hi, hello.
Hi, hello. If you thought my intros were cursed, you've been introduced to a whole new world of hell.
Everybody just dreads it whenever I'm like, okay, I got an intro for this one. I'm just like, oh, they're just, oh no.
Mm-hmm.
What are we about to partake?
It's we all get ready to get off frame. We all get ready to click and call. But we still haven't. So I hope you haven't
Yeah,
closed the
still let
tab
me in
in
here.
which you're watching and or listening to this either.
They just lock me out of the podcast studio.
We just give you specifically a different role on Discord. And you're like, oh my God, thank you so much. This is so sweet. I feel so special. And you're like, there must be an issue though. I can't access the voice channel. What's going on?
So weird. You've never foreseen this happening.
Oh boy. Well, gamers,
The episode about microtransactions.
Yeah. It only took us 80 episodes to get into a deep, in-depth talk about microtransactions. And the straw that broke the camel's back. We're the camels. Gamers are the camels. Was the Chocobo GP situation, TM.
We've all been assigned a persona, and it is Camel.
I hate oh my goodness.
I ruined the podcast. I'm so sorry.
This is the second strike. This is the second strike. I'll be preparing a 2-people scene in the background with just me and Koga. And I will
This
not.
is why they didn't let me on the sex episode.
That is a lie.
That's a goof. That's a goof.
That is a lie.
It's a goof.
We invited everyone for every episode, including specifically the sex episode. How dare you?
I'm just goofing. I'm just in a silly goofy mood today.
Well, Square Enix is also goofing because they released Chocobo GP and they fully have people paying full price for a game and then expecting them to pay even further for a season pass. I think I briefly mentioned this last time because we were talking about like what the things we were playing and stuff like that, and I mentioned that I downloaded the Chocobo GP demo, but I hadn't gotten into it yet. I guess for the sake of the discussion, I did in fact play a little bit of the not demo, the free version that they have. The game is like fine, but it is very odd opening like a console game and seeing like things that you would normally see on like a mobile game, like the banners and like the ad type things, like the season pass, play as Cloud, but only if you get the season pass and only if you level up all the way up. So that was not fun. And also there's a few things that are locked behind like the paid version. You can like play lobbies online, and I actually did find that the Grand Prix was actually very interesting, the way that they go about it. It's actually like they put on like 30 something people, and then like only the top 4 move on to the next round. So you're constantly like the group gets pared down until it's only like I guess 4 people or something like that, or 8 people, and then like whoever wins. So I thought that was pretty cool, instead of like the lobbies that you experience in like Mario Kart and stuff like that, where just people accumulate points the longer that you're in the lobby, and like whoever comes in is just gonna be behind no matter what. So I did think that that was pretty cool. I didn't play the story mode or anything of the sort because I was very, very turned off by the constant like, oh, what does this do? Oh, this is for paid people only. And then it's like, oh, I earned a currency. Oh, but you can't spend it on that because that's for paid users only. And it's like, okay, but I also don't want to pay for the game and then
I'm just calling you poor like over and over again.
literally, and then pay even more to get beloved characters such as Squall and Cloud and others, TM. But like it's just it doesn't feel good to turn on a game thinking about people who have paid for that game and then thinking that you're expected to pay even more for to have like a full experience. So let's talk about microtransactions. Why do we love them? Do we hate them? Have we partook in them? Yep. What do we think, Koga?
I mean, I've definitely partaken in it, as I do call this my Dokkan device. So I mean, clearly, definitely have been there. It really depends, but usually the time how they handle it, not all the time. Like if it's for a game like, I guess I forgot the name of this, Chocobo Racing, whatever. I also, by the way, I told y'all to just play Mario Kart, but whatever. But Chocobo GP, there shouldn't be, if what the game was, I guess $40-$50 or something like that. There shouldn't be banners on games that you pay for. That's not good. Like unless it's only cosmetic. I mean, even then I don't like it, but I mean at this point enough of y'all out here and said you do. So whatever, but like is that how you unlock characters? Like you get Cloud by summoning on a banner? Or is it through a season pass?
No, the banners are basically like to promote like the season pass, to promote like the paid version of the game. So it's not like it's a gotcha situation. It's more like you just see like these huge banners on your screen when you boot up the game, like promoting the season pass.
Oh.
But yeah, that's how you get Cloud, for example. You just have to get the season pass on top of the paid version of the game. And then I think it's like all the way at the end. So you have to level it up. You have to level everything up before the season ends, I'm assuming. So that's also like another thing. Honestly, I think this would have easily, in this game specifically, we can definitely talk about microtransactions as a whole, but in this game it could have been fixed easily if the game was just free to play.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I thought you meant like banner, like something that look. I'm still in Dokkan mode, okay, but it even though I mean I guess a pass to where you go through things, that's definitely something I would prefer to be in like a free to play game, not something I have to pay for. Because it feels like it's demanding more of your time and then giving you just I guess a character, and you have to get I guess the pass. Which how much is the pass? Is it what like 30, 20?
I have no
That
idea. You have to. I think you can pay for it with in-game currency, which they do apparently give to you, especially if you have the paid version. And apparently, early on in the game's lifespan, I guess they've been giving more out of like maintenance, inconvenience, fees, and like whatever. But I don't know what that would convert to, or if you can even like, as long as you pay for the game, that you can somehow grind the currency or something. Either way, it just, I don't know. It just feels like you said, like very demanding of your time and your money, and
yeah,
that's not good.
I don't know. My question is, how many people actually bought the pass? Like, did it? If because I'm curious, if it financially did well, then I don't know. I would hope not, but I mean, I don't know. A lot of y'all out here done let me down on this numerous times. So I mean, y'all probably let me down one more time, and probably another time in like a few months.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, because like people they're gonna keep doing this as long as it keeps making money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was so excited for this because I love Chocobo
Yes.
Racing. I had it on PS1, I think. It was great. It was fun. I didn't have a Nintendo growing up. That was like my kart racer. So when I saw this was announced, I was just like, yes, Chocobo Racing.
Well,
It's really disappointing. Like, it really feels like they wanted to make a mobile game. And if you're gonna make a mobile game, just make it a mobile game. I don't understand, like, trying to do it both ways. Like,
Is it on mobile?
I don't think so. I think it's just console, right?
I think
I don't know.
it's
I'm gonna check. What is this game called again? Chocobo.
Chocobo
Chocobo
GP.
GP.
I keep thinking of I'm gonna call it like Final Fantasy something, but like it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Chocobo. Let me see.
I think it's literally
This can't
just
be it.
a Switch exclusive.
Mm.
Okay, this ain't it. It's some other. I don't know
Some
what the
like
hell this is,
off-brand.
but it's not. It's not that. It has Square Enix name on it, but it's not that. But okay, I was like, what if they did put it on mobile and like you got to pay for this one too? But
Oh God. Could you $50 for a mobile game? Could you imagine?
yep,
Yeah.
yeah, I can unfortunately. I haven't bought it though, but I
Oh
can definitely
God.
imagine that. But I don't know.
I understand that like games have to make money, but like you gotta like pick a monetization strategy. Like either you pay up front or you do microtransactions. Like I don't understand the impulse between wanting to do both.
money.
Yeah, but like didn't they think that like people would like just wouldn't question that at all?
I don't know. Square Enix has been making some very questionable decisions over the past few years. I mean, they have some hits, but they also have
Mhm.
some misses. Like, um, they had Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was a hit on consoles, PC. I don't know if they fixed the issues or not. But then you had like Marvel Avengers, and that's a mess.
Mhm.
Then they released Final Fantasy Origins. I'm not sure how that's doing currently. I know on PC apparently it has optimization issues, but I mean, so far people seem to like that. So I don't know. It's like they'll
Mm-hmm.
release something that people are happy about, and then like right next to it is like something that's not great, like this. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they're like trying to like figure things out or seeing what they can get away with.
Right.
Yeah,
That
it's
makes sense.
just it feels like they fumbled they fumbled themselves over like every other game, right? Because like you had Babylon's Fall as well, that wasn't doing like that great, and then
I forgot
Stranger
about
of
that.
Paradise is doing better on Metacritic, I think. It's currently at a 72 average for the PS5 version, not bad.
I don't.
Um, but
Wait, but Babylon's Falls is 75?
no,
Oh
no, no,
no.
no. Stranger of
No.
Paradise.
Okay, I'm about to say, wait, what?
Yeah. Stranger of Paradise is at a 72 average on Metacritic, so it's not doing bad. It's definitely not like game of the year, but it definitely seems like the
We already know
target
what game of the
audience
year is.
seems to be enjoying it. And then you have Chocobo GP, which there's that. But like as a general vibe, as a general theme, how do you think there is a good way of doing microtransactions or an ethical way of doing microtransactions? What do y'all think?
Yes, make sure the main game you have is full of meat, and then we release maybe some microtransactions that make people think, oh, there's more. Because
Mm-hmm.
otherwise, it's just like it feels like it's stuff that should have been there, and it's not. And I don't know. It's like there's games that do this, and try not to talk about that game because it's great. But it's like if you go, I would prefer that they do it in a way of just making sure like the main game that we pay for is worth that asking price, and not like something that's like 50 or 60 and then talk about like, okay, but we have to add this. Because I'm just gonna be honest, I understand that things happen, but this stuff also still costs my money that I have to work for. And I definitely do look at, okay, so for $60 or 50, I can get this. How does this compare to other than I get for that price? And honestly, there's just other games out there that do have it to where you can pay a certain amount and it's like gives you full of, what you pay for. And for this, it doesn't feel like that's what they did. And I'm like, y'all really could have just added like the characters in. I don't know. Honestly, y'all could have just did like Mario Kart. Like you could have just
Yeah.
did what they did
Mhm.
with the original Mario Kart 8, where it was a bunch there, then it was DLC, and then you have Deluxe, which I'm not sure what that added, besides 2 items, which is very chaotic. And now they're adding like, a bunch of courses. Some people aren't happy about that, but it's 48 courses for $25. I'm cool with it. But it's like if you have enough there, people will be fine with paying extra. But like with this, it just feels like pay this and pay more of this so that you can potentially unlock this, which is why I kind of don't care for like some of these passes
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. Like this cosmetic stuff, then whatever. Or if it's a free to play game, then it's to be expected. But for a game you had to pay almost full price for, no.
It
Like
would
just
literally be like, sorry, but I'm just thinking about how like silly it is that like Cloud is like behind a paywall. Like it would literally be like if Mario Kart came out for full price and then they made you pay extra to play as Mario. Like,
Or like they did like Kirby Racing, and then it's like you can play as Mario, but it's behind a season pass. Like, why would you do that?
money.
I know, but like, but the thing is, like, but that's like thinking about money as like in a greedy way, right? Because like, if you think about
I
like, let's
mean,
make a quality game that isn't scummy with their like money, like because every game asks for money these days. Like even Mario Kart, they just added like a bunch of DLC courses, but you have to do it in a way where people are gonna see worth in it. Because like you said, it's like we're still in a pandemic too, so it's like people are even more careful about where they're spending their money and stuff like that. So, and I'm just gonna say this, like Chocobo GP and many other kart racers, people are not gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm totally gonna play this. I'm gonna default to this over Mario Kart because like Mario Kart has perfected that genre in such a way that like in order for people to even give this game a chance, it should have just been like the $50 you get, and they should have just used Cloud and Squall as like characters that you can play from the get go, including Steiner from 9 and Vivi from 9. They're also, I think, in the game. Like literally just like promote it as like the Final Fantasy card game of your dreams. You know what I mean? And people would have gotten it because people were very excited about that game. People were like, "Oh my god, this is really cute." And maybe some people that aren't very into like the Mario property, I guess I suppose, and or even the diehard Final Fantasy players, because like they've all given Stranger of Paradise a chance, or a lot of them did anyway. So it's just like one of those things where like you had it all right there. Like the money making was literally right there. And like I totally get it. Like instead of maybe a season pass, maybe just like again, like announce like even if they didn't want Cloud in the main game for some reason and they wanted to farm him for like DLC, literally introduce like a Grand Prix of like maybe 2 or 3 Final Fantasy VII themed tracks with like Cloud and maybe like Tifa or Aerith or like literally any character from 7. And you could have sold that as like a DLC pack. And then you could have sold like
Thank
maybe a
you.
Final Fantasy VIII themed DLC pack. Or, you know what I mean? Like, it would have been so easy for them to make money that way. But I honestly, the way that the game kind of looks like a mobile game, I do think that maybe this was supposed to be a mobile game, and then Nintendo was like, "That looks really good. What if we made it? What if we paid you for you to make this a Switch game? Because you know Switches can run mobile games." And so like I don't know, there may have been something there that contributed to it, but I don't know. What would y'all say are so for me as far as like DLC, not DLC, like microtransactions? The only couple times where I've kind of fallen into it was one with Pokemon Go. That was the first time because I'm a stubborn individual. Y'all, some of y'all may know this already about me. And I've always told myself like if it's a free game, I refuse to spend any money on it because I've already made the mental agreement in my head that it's free. So, but with Pokemon Go, I didn't know that like when you unlock certain like research study things that you get an opportunity to catch a Pokemon, and I didn't know that if you failed, you could just like get out of that menu and try it again kind of thing. So out of desperation, I bought Pokeballs in the shop, which wasn't like that expensive anyway, and I got my legendary whatever it was, I don't remember. Um and I was like, okay, they got me, gal. But even then, I was like, I was playing Pokemon Go consistently at the time, and it felt like I put enough time into it that I was like, okay, you know what? They can get a little bit of my money. I don't care. And then the second time it happened was with Fortnite. And again, at that time, it was a free game. I got a lot out of it. And in the past, they used to give out V-Bucks just like in free season passes and stuff like that. And like just generally, like after leveling up a few times, you would get V-Bucks and all that stuff. So I was like, oh, they're pretty generous. Nowadays, not that much. But regardless, I had been playing it for a long time and I was very excited for the Tomb Raider stuff. And it was like locked behind a season pass. And I was like, I'm just going to do it. Like I've been putting a lot of my time into this game anyway, so it's kind of a way for me to kind of get back at not get back at them, like not in a bad way, but like to contribute, to give back and be like, you know what, like I've spent a lot of time in this game and it was a free game and I found it to be like the money that I've spent was worth it. And it was still under my control. It was still like I still haven't spent, $50 on Fortnite or any game for that matter that's like free to play. So it was still one of those things where like, I haven't paid like a full price for this game that I would consider to be full price as far as like quality, right? Cuz Fortnite is pretty polished. They keep adding new content. It's pretty they always have like new collaborations and new maps and like all these things. So like I have to give them credit for that. And so for me, I felt that was like fine. I don't think that season passes are necessarily the best thing to be created as far as gaming goes, but I found it to be worthwhile for me and for what I wanted out of it. So yeah, that's to me the times that I got gotten by microtransactions, but I didn't necessarily regret them. But yeah, what about you, Spin? Do you have any sort of moments where you're like, okay, I'm willing to spend my money on this game for this reason or for that reason, or if they do this thing or whatever?
Yeah, I'm the kind of person where like if I'm playing a game, if I'm enjoying it, and like if I think that like a battle pass or something is like a really good value, then I'm just like, chuck a few dollars at them. Like when I was like really into Genshin, and I was playing it every day and just constantly like obsessed with Genshin, I did like a month or two of their battle pass. It's like $5 a month. And like you get like a bunch of Prima gems. I was able to like do a bunch of wishes. Um like it gave me another reason to log in every day. Like I don't mind doing stuff like that. Um Especially like in like a free to play game, like it's like I'm in control of how much money I want to spend on this game, and like I just kind of viewed it like that, like a Netflix kind of thing. You know, like I'm getting as much or more entertainment out of this than I'm like getting out of my Netflix subscription. I'm just gonna like pay like $5 a month for my Genshin.
Yeah.
Um, and then I stopped playing it, and then I stopped doing that. Um, but like where I think it gets really dicey for me is like when it's um when it's excessive and it's like for the purpose of gambling. Because like also in Genshin, you can just straight up buy Prima Gems to wish on the banners, and it's essentially just gambling.
Yeah.
And like I feel like that can get really dangerous.
Yeah.
And I have this like mantra to myself, like not even once, because I know if I do it one time, I'm gonna get hopelessly addicted.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spend way too much money because I know myself.
Right.
So it just it can get dangerous, and like there's definitely like personal responsibility there. Like you have to like know yourself and know your limits, but there's also like when you're like creating and like marketing a game like on mobile for kids,
Mm-hmm.
like is that ethical? Or
No,
like
it's not.
right, like when you're um when you're like hiding it in like within like multiple currencies so it doesn't seem like spending real money, like this that feels kind of gross. And
Pokemon
like
Unite.
yeah, yeah, but it's just like I'm definitely more willing to like spend money on like a battle pass kind of situation if it's like, okay, I'm playing this game every day, like I'm getting a lot of enjoyment out of it. I'll chuck them a little bit of money this month. But if it's like I know that like not even once, because then I can't stop myself.
Mm-hmm. No, but you're absolutely right. Even as far as like cosmetics goes in games and stuff like that, especially with Fortnite, it's like once I opened that door to like that first season pass. Next thing I knew, like there was an Ariana skin and I bought it without thinking twice. There was a Resident Evil thing that I bought and I did, and it was a way for them to keep me because I think I ended up keeping my season pass going or like my I I became like a Fortnite crew member, like which I'm not proud of. It's like I upped my like I went instead of like paying for the battle pass or whatever. I paid for like the higher tier where you get the battle pass and you get V-bucks to spend and all that stuff, which was still a good deal. But like it's very predatory for people that have addictive and impulsive personalities, which a lot of the times it's not like people can necessarily control that about themselves. It's like, oh, this game looks really cool, or like, oh, I've seen my friend play this, and then all of a sudden you get sucked into these ads or these like things that look fun and interesting and whatever, and then you're like, next thing you know, you're spending a lot of money. So um yeah, I don't. Ugh, it's rough because it's one of those things where like at this point we kind of know better as gamers, and we kind of know that like, okay, if the game is on mobile and it's free, there's probably going to be a lot of ways that they're going to try to bamboozle me. And at this point we definitely know of people that are just like, you know what, I'm not even going to get into that game because if I do, I don't know how much money they're going to get out of me, and that's scary. And that's, and I hate that people have not have to, but people are put in those situations, right? Where, they, yeah, they're opened up for gambling and for like potential addictive patterns, right? That like even paid games kind of promote. Like I know we love Animal Crossing, but they definitely promote a thing of like log in every day for the rest of your life, because if you don't log in, your villagers are going to be really sad. Or like, oh, you get a bigger bonus of whatever points if you log in every day and you go into the little ATM machine. So don't you dare miss a day, or else you're going to miss out on your streak. So like there's a lot of ways in which like it's not just like microtransactions, it's not just like free to play or whatever. Like some games do this in different ways, and it can be very dangerous. So definitely like know your limits, or try to be aware of your limits, or your your type of personality, I guess. If you're someone that's more likely to spend more time doing a particular task, or if you're more likely to become addicted to a specific thing. But it's hard to navigate that, it's really, really hard to navigate that. What are some games that you think do it right, as far as like the microtransactions, and you're like, you know what, like they did that right somehow, or like a good example, I guess.
Okay. I feel like Genshin kind of goes both ways. Like, I do like the battle pass situation, but you definitely can get into very dangerous territory in Genshin. And I know I've like heard stories of people who have, so I don't want to like minimize that at all. But like, I feel like if you have like a lot of self-control, like Genshin does it good with that battle pass. Um, I will also say that like I really like Cookie Run for this, because like yeah, there are like a lot of microtransactions, but they don't necessarily shove them in your face all the time, and you can get the full experience of the game without spending any money at all. I have spent $0 on Cookie Run, and I've played it for I don't even want to know how much time I have in this game. You do not have to spend any money on Cookie Run at all.
Right. I'm honestly trying to think, and I'm having a hard time coming up with a thing, like, because like Fortnite is kind of a good example, as far as like they're like, hey, we have a store right here with a lot of your favorite like characters and or properties, and you want to look cute, right? You want to have this fun little dance move that we stole from TikTok. Um, you know what I mean? So like I get that, but at the same time it's not like they default, like it's not like when you log in, the first thing you see is like buy things, buy everything. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you get the full Fortnite experience as far as the gameplay goes by just existing and logging in. You know what I mean? Like if you don't mind how your character looks, if you don't mind having not having certain things, and just having like the default weapons or whatever, like, then like Fortnite is fine. You know what I mean? Um, but then again, there's also the element of like the battle pass is definitely something that is promoted often. But then again, it's not like it's like super super easy. There's a lot of menus you have to go through before you spend your money. It's not like it's like one of those things where it's like a click away and you're like, oh, I just spent money, and I thought there was going to be like a confirmation menu or like something. So there's also that. um but other than that, I can't really think of like a game that really does it. I guess, yeah, we have Dex in chat saying, I feel like games that only do cosmetics behind a paywall but also offer cosmetics in game for free is nice, like Final Fantasy 14. You can get old event items you may have missed if you want them too. That's true, and I also do feel like you're already paying for the subscription, so it's not like they also have a thing of like, I mean, they definitely have a thing for like, oh, if you're subscribed for a very long time, we'll give you like prizes and like legacy items and whatever to incentivize you being subscribed for a long time. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like when you log into Final Fantasy 14, it's not like they're like, oh, here's your daily streak, and here's an item for logging in today. Like, there are some things that are like, obviously, like, you know, the daily roulettes and all that stuff that you can do, but like, other than that, it's not really like, it doesn't feel predatory like that, because it's almost like we already got your money, so it's like, you know, whatever. And
Yeah.
like, the store where you buy cosmetics and stuff is like buried in menus. It's not like a thing that you get and you're like spammed with. So that's a really good way to go about it. But yeah, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I will say like with 14, like you really have to want to spend money to spend extra money on 14. Like
Mm-hmm.
they do not make it. They're not like shoving the Mog Station in your face like every time you log in. So that's always nice.
They already make you pay monthly, so I would hope not.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know. Like, if it's a free to play. I mean, like Dexa, unless they're doing something to where it's just like cosmetics or something, probably not. Like, if it's a gotcha game, no. Like, none of them are. Been saying this for like a long time. Like, these games are not your friend. They're not meant to do. They're meant to make these companies money, which is why like everything they do is usually based around it. They may have like certain things for players to be a little bit nice. Like, some have like, you know, a pity system. Dokkan doesn't. But it's just, if when it comes to free to play and it's something that actually affects gameplay and how you can progress, I think it's kind of like not great. And that's where a lot of them are. Now, if it's something to where it's something you pay for and it's just cosmetic things, then I mean, that's fine. But if it's something like you get like, you know, a better weapon or stats or something like that, then no. It's kind of hard for me to think of games because I don't play a lot of them that do that. Like, anything like the games I'm playing right now don't have that, except the obvious. I mean, clearly, but it's because I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't play Fortnite. I haven't played Final Fantasy 14. I think at this point since like 2015. It's not a bad game. I can't turn my subscription. It takes a lot of time, and then I turn on my subscription, and then it's like I gotta turn that back on, but then it's get lost in everything else. So I mean, I don't know. I just kind of just don't do that a lot. I mean, I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel for a minute, but which I mean, it's free to play, so I don't know. I expect free to play things to do that, but if it's something that I have to pay for, I would hope that, you know, not. But I mean, when it comes to these things is to make money, so I don't expect them to go in that with, you know, the player's best interest in mind. So I know it's like how people can be, you know, I forgot the word, you know, addicted to like gambling and things like that, and people get mad at the companies, and I mean, it's understandable, but they kind of get away with it depending on where it is. Also depending on where they are determines on what else they can do. But like, again, for like Dokkan, there's like this place where you can like buy packs for like more tickets. Like, the new banner just came out yesterday, and you can buy like for tickets and things like that. But in Japan, that's banned, so they can't do it there, but they'll do it like everywhere else. But it's like, at the same time, it's like you have to know what you're getting into, and it's not meant to be in like put it on like the person, but there is like some, you know, self responsibility to where it's like, if like know what you're getting into before you play it. That's why like I do play like Dokkan a lot like every day. But if someone asks me, should I play it? No. don't do it, because for me it's like, have I put money into it? Absolutely. Do you have to? I mean, I don't know. Depends on what you want to do. Because I mean, there's events. There's going to be harder events. There's like a harder event coming like later on this year for global, and even like the events that the units you summon for, they just get ass blasted, and then that's it. So it's like, really know what you're getting into, and it's just that, I mean, like I said, I know a lot of it sucks that companies do that, but again, their goal is to make money, and I say that as much as I do because you'd be surprised just how much that's just the answer to it all. Yeah. There's no morals or anything. It's just, we want money. How do we make money? Do this. Is this working? Yes. Is this not working? Well, some of them will change it, and some of them will keep doing it and wondering what's wrong. Like Square Enix. Like, 'cause I don't know what they were thinking with this one. So it's just, when it comes to games like this, you have to be like very careful of what where you're putting your money to. But if you do feel that it's worth your time and money, then sure, just you gotta be really careful. But I can't think of that many games that go this route that just does it in a way that I desire. So I don't play that many of them.
That's fair. That's fair.
I feel like there should be like warnings. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just was it the one thing that really like annoys me about Cookie Run, is that like there's always that like the little pop-ups that come up like you summon this rare character. Do you want to spend 40 American US dollars to level them up? And that happens every time you summon like an epic or higher. And it's so annoying. And I'm just like, no, I would not like to spend 40 US American dollars on Cookie Game. Uh,
Yeah, that's wild.
that's just the one like addendum I wanted to add to my Cookie Run recommendation. Just like be prepared to be like, no, and like, close out those notifications.
Right. Yeah, I was saying like I do wish that I do wish that there were like warnings perhaps like at the storefronts at least of like, hey, this game will contain advertisement for potential gambling or like whatever. Like there should be, and I know that there are some like things that are like there's in-game ads, but like it doesn't always cover the extent of the ads, or it doesn't cover, the type of things that might affect people psychologically. So I do think that there should be a thing across the board as far as like, yeah, companies don't care about morals, but like they should. um and there should be accountability there as well. And I know that there have been some companies that have kind of been having some legal battles in some territories and some issues that they've had, for like the way that they go about microtransactions and stuff like that. But it is really rough because we don't want to sit here and be like, just be careful, y'all, because then we're putting that on the people, and like suddenly it's their responsibility to not get addicted to things even though they don't have control over their personality type or their addictive behaviors or whatever. So it's a really tough situation to be put in for sure.
Yeah, I
But
feel
yeah.
it's kind of like it's on both. Because like I do think it would be great for them to be able to like put that there that is going to be there, but I know they're not going to because they want you to go there, so they're not going to give you any warning if they don't have to. But it's like if that is there and that you try to best avoid it, you can. I mean, some can't help it, but it's like this is why I always say like if you're going to play something, you have maybe like some type of issue or there's some type of warning you need, do like some type of research to know what it is. Like the internet is there, YouTube is there. Look into what you're getting into if possible. Because while we can say that the company could do this and things that and they should, the reality is they aren't, and there's nothing that can really be done about it. I mean, we could complain about it, but they make too much money. It don't matter until like the government steps in, and that ain't happening. Well, depending on where you're at, some governments do, depending on where it is. I have known a few cases, but at least here in this, country here of America, not really.
Yeah.
So it's just,
Capitalism.
yeah. Like I said, that's why I always tell people, I'm like, if you have a gambling issue, no, like just avoid it. But just like I said, know what you're getting into. But if it's a gotcha game and you have a gambling issue, just avoid it. It's the
Yeah.
best. Because even if it's because they're free to play, but there's gonna be certain things and events or something that you just can't do unless you summon, and that can be that can be quite the rabbit hole.
And even if they're generous about like the in-game currency, they're never generous enough to give you like a chance at getting everything that you may want from a banner. Because I remember when I used to play the Brave Exvius Final Fantasy Tactics type of game, and they've often had like events for like popular Final Fantasy characters to show up, and they do give you free currency, free, I guess, currency that you can also pay for, I guess, but they don't give you enough that it's like guaranteed that you will have enough that you can draw enough times from the banners to get certain things, because they do have a thing of like after a certain amount of tries you're guaranteed an ultra or whatever, but it's not guaranteed that you'll get the banner person. You may get like a duplicate, or you may get someone else. But that's also how they get you, you know, because you're like, oh, there's a day left and I still haven't gotten them, and I really want this character, and they've been pretty generous, so I guess I'll spend this. And then next thing you know, you're spending it on every banner. So there's also that.
That's why I tell people to not do that.
Yeah.
Like never summon on every banner. Never do that.
Yeah. Well.
I mean, the only time these companies are going to be generous is when the game comes out, because they have to give you a reason to want to keep playing. Like that's what like Master Duel was kind of. And I know they have some events, so I'm not sure. But like when the game first came out, they were very generous about like the in-game currency. And honestly, if you knew what you wanted, what kind of deck you wanted to build, you could more than likely do it if you were smart about using your currency. Which unfortunately, I think maybe like most of the player base was not. But like after that, it's like, all right, that's it. Then you gotta wait, and they're not going to change, because at that point, the people who weren't going to spend money might fall off, and that's not. I mean, they're a little bit important, but not as much as you think. The ones who are really important are the whales, the one who throw so much money into the game. Those are the ones. They are the ones who keep like the games alive. The same people that and just throw money on every single banner, like the content creators and everything like that. That's who they. So as long as they're still going and a bunch of other people are, they'll be fine. But the free to play players, I mean, it still is like important, but they want you to spend money. So at a certain point, they'll get you enjoy it, and then it's like, all right, but you can get this now and this and this, and you might have to throw a little bit of money. And that's why you got to like be patient. That's why I always say like be patient with some of the banners, because some of the banners aren't worth it. And I do think when it comes to a character who comes out, unlike some of these banners, it's just what value is the character and the other characters or items on the banners, which I have definitely noticed people don't look at that. So it's like, you know, you got to definitely know they're not going to always be generous. And if you're going to keep playing, you got to know, okay, well, how are they going to be? How is this going to work? And how can you have the best chance to getting something good if you are going to summon, because they're not going to do that in mind. And yeah, they'll do something like have a really good banner so that you can throw all your coins into it, and then the next month, here's the anniversary with the best banners in the game. Dokkan does this every year. Every year they release a dual Dokkan Fest banner of two who are good, and then a few weeks later it's the best banner in the world. Two of them, by the way. And if you're in global, you have a month until the second best ones comes out. So
that's just rude.
It is the most rude thing. Like global, we kind of have it bad in that regard, because the units that are on that banner don't return until the anniversary the next year. So remember how I mentioned in the past how I missed the 2 units and I never got them from last year? Yeah, still waiting. Still waiting until July.
Well,
but it's just like that. So gotta be smart how you spend it.
Well,
yeah.
It's like a strategy guide.
Speaking of what we're spending money on and what we're doing, what have you been playing, y'all? Do we want to talk about it? It's been a while since you've been on the podcast. What have you been playing?
Yeah, I mean, well, okay. First of all, it's not going to surprise anybody that I've been playing Animal Crossing. Like, it's a part of my life.
It's a matter of what you were doing in Animal Crossing, really.
Right. Yeah, I've just been working on Fae Branch, getting Harmony like really close to completion. My off-stream island. I've just got like some more pathing to do, and I want to build up a little farmhouse. I want to decorate a second house, because I already decorated my one house. Now I want to decorate another house.
As one does.
Yeah, absolutely. But I've also been doing other things, playing other games besides Animal Crossing. Can you imagine?
Ooh. I can't. I'm intrigued.
So we started this like challenge on Pokemon Yellow, playing Pokemon Yellow on the 3DS Virtual Console. I also went ahead and snapped up Crystal, because I know that they're gonna be closing the 3DS shop. I want to make sure I get Crystal in there. It's sad. Um, but yeah, they fortunately they have the first 2 gens available on Virtual Console on the 3DS. Because like I still have my cartridges, but they don't save anymore because the batteries are dead. Um, so so yeah, I'm just been playing them on 3DS. But I started Pokemon Yellow, and I was like, I've played Pokemon 1,000 times. Let me do it a little bit differently this time. Let me do it the worst way that you possibly could play Pokemon Yellow. I'm only playing with Pikachu. It's a only Pikachu run of Pokemon Yellow. Right now, I'm stuck at Giovanni. Not gonna lie, it's gonna be difficult.
Yeah.
But I've beaten Giovanni before. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go to the Elite Four. I'm gonna win the game with only Pikachu. Only Pikachu all the time. And it's Fat Pikachu, which is the best Pikachu. I will fight.
You're correct.
Yep.
The superior Pikachu.
hmm So it's the only Fat Pikachu run of Pokemon Yellow, and I want to do it with all the games.
Just a Pikachu run?
No, not just Pikachu, but like a starter only.
Just to start it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Although it could be cute to do a Pikachu only, but then it would become skinny Pikachu over the years, and I would be sad.
Yeah. And like you wouldn't be able to have Pikachu at the beginning of every game.
Right. Yeah, you can't like start with Pikachu every time, so.
I mean, you can.
Well,
You have to use some methods,
You
but
should-
you can.
all you have to
don't
do is
know.
put on an eye patch.
I don't
I don't wanna. No.
I don't wanna. Oh my. So yeah, I've been doing that. I'm gonna just stubbornly hack away at Giovanni until I can beat this game, and then I'm gonna be starting Crystal.
Iconic. Well,
Other than that, I don't know if I've been playing anything else. That might be it.
it seems like you've been busy with both of those, so that's a lot already. That's a lot emotionally. I haven't really been up to too much, because I was kind of out of commission for a couple days because I did get my booster. But get your booster now. Booster is not only just for Mario Kart, you can also get it for yourself so that
Mario's
you're
getting
safe.
his booster. Are you?
Oh my god, that reminds me of that ridiculous COVID-19 Mario Kart ad.
I don't know if I've seen it, and now I want to see it. But
Yeah,
anyway, I haven't been playing Mario Kart. I still haven't. I've been thinking of like logging in and trying to like leech off of someone because you can play the new tracks if you're in the same lobby as someone who does own the DLC. And so I maybe I'll do that because I don't know if I want to spend that much money already. Not that it's a lot of money, considering the fact that they're basically doubling the amount of tracks that you get by the end of the year or whatever. So, we'll see. But I actually just finished the Triangle Strategy demo, which is the first 3 chapters of the game. And I will say that it did kind of pick up a little bit more because last week I talked a little bit about it and how there was a lot of cutscenes and not a lot of combat. But they actually did have like a mode where you can kind of go into like your little like camp and you could like do like makeup fights. It like basically like it's almost as if the way that they framed it is like it's your main character in their head, like they're fighting and basically like coming up with strategies and whatever. And I think your characters can level up doing that, so that's a way you can kind of grind. Not that you can grind too much in the demo because you can only level up to a certain amount in the demo. But I thought that was a nice way of adding like extra combat to a game where in the beginning the story is supposed to be kind of peaceful because everyone is basically trying to get along in the beginning of the game, and like between different nations, and like new people are kind of getting crowned, and it's a whole thing of like there's definitely tension in the air as far as the story goes, but you can definitely tell that everyone's trying to keep it cute. So there's only like, out of the 3 chapters, as far as I remember, I think I've only done like maybe 2 or 3 battles, maybe like once per chapter. So it hasn't been too eventful as far as like the battling goes. It's definitely been more cutscene heavy because it's also the beginning of the game. So you're definitely getting introduced to basically the entire story and like the exposition and the characters and everything. But I'm definitely intrigued by the story, and I definitely want to keep playing the full version. I definitely did not turn it back to the English voices. I'm so sorry to say the English voices just did not do it for me. I would say that the game for me was like really really good, and that's like basically my only flaw that I can find with it. Other than like the lack of battles at the beginning, I feel like those are pretty scarce, but I feel like it's gonna pick up a little bit, especially because the previous demo that they had was like sometime in the middle of the game, and there was like definitely a lot of battling in there. So I definitely think it's gonna pick up a little bit more after the story kind of picks up as well. But unfortunately, I'm not there yet, and I also haven't bought the game, so we'll see when I do get there. But yeah, I haven't really been up to too much. I just purchased a few games on Steam that were on sale, so I'll definitely get into some new shenanigans, maybe some Yakuza, maybe some Devil May Cry. What else did I get? Oh yeah, Final Fantasy. I got remastered for my challenge series, which I'm still going strong. I'm still on Final Fantasy 7, which is good. I haven't died yet, but I'm still pretty early on, so there's also that. But yeah, that's basically it for me. I already talked about Chocobo GP, so that's basically all I have to say on that. Oh, I guess if I want to get into a little bit of like the tracks for Chocobo GP, I did play, I think only like maybe a couple of the tracks, and I know that there's a little bit more than the ones that I got to play. Unfortunately, in the Grand Prix that I played, sometimes they repeated tracks. So like sometimes you would get the same track twice in a row, and then you would get a different one. They seemed fine. Unfortunately, like it's really difficult to play a game like that and not compare it to Mario Kart and just be like, oh, the Mario Kart levels are better, to be honest, and like the items, you're already used to them. And so like with a new game like this, you're like, what does this item do? And you're like, oh, I don't like that, or like, this is different, this is weird. And the items are pretty interesting. Like they're based off of like spells from the Final Fantasy franchise. There's one where you kind of teleport a little bit ahead, which is kind of cool. And I did like the couple maps that I played. I think I did Gold Saucer, and there was like a bridge map, which I think is from a Final Fantasy game that I didn't get far enough in to experience that bridge. But I know that they also have like a Final Fantasy 9 themed track as well, and probably others that I can't really remember off the top of my head. But it's a really cute concept, but unfortunately, I don't think it's executed in the best way. But then again, I only played the free version. Maybe the paid version is better if you have more characters to choose from, if you have more of a freedom on customizing your characters and stuff like that. But yeah, unfortunately, I didn't have like the best experience. I played maybe for like 30 minutes to an hour, and then I was like, yeah, I got the gist of it. I'll go back to Triangle Strategy. What about you, Koga? What have you been playing?
Well, kind of. Of course, Dokkan, obviously. Saiyan Day was yesterday, so every Saiyan Day they release like a new banner. Of course, they released a Majin Vegeta, which is really good. Some people aren't happy about him, but it's because he's a defensive unit. So his attack isn't like the best thing ever, but defense is great. So that celebration is gonna go for like the remainder of the month. I would say. I like it a lot. I had to throw like 500 stones in, but it could have been worse. Then obviously they've been playing Elden Ring. Game is great. Game is still like easily like one of the best games in a while I've played in a while. Um, so oh my goodness. So apparently you're in the game, you can have people who can like they can like leave messages. And usually they leave a message where it's like a hidden passage. And then someone will say liar ahead. And you're like, okay. We found out that some of these people may not have actually been lying. It's just that you usually have to like hit the wall one time for it to open like a new secret passage. Apparently, for some of you had to hit like multiple times. Like I think like 10 or more, like maybe even 50. It was quite a few. And it does. And I'm thinking like, how many of these have I passed up?
No.
I'm like, I don't know. I can't go back to all of these. This game is like so big. Like, I don't know like when I'm gonna. I haven't played it as much this week because I've been busy, but I don't know when I'm going to be finished with this game, if ever. It's just really big. But I like that it feels like it's not. You're rewarded for the time that you put in, rather than feeling like a bunch of padding and demanding your time for something small. Like I don't know. Like I honestly, game of the year. Probably so. I honestly think so for me.
Ooh.
But I mean, I can't play like I mean I can't I don't have a PlayStation, so I can't play Horizon Zero Dawn or the new God of War. But like this game just does a lot right for me, and it reminds me of like back in 2007 when it had a PS3 at launch and there was nothing coming out, and I played Oblivion. And with that, like you would start playing in the morning, and the next thing you know, it's like dark outside because you played it so long, and it takes a while but it feels like the time you're putting in is just worth it and you're enjoying it. And that's what I'm getting out of it here. Like I think they just really I mean it's not perfect. I mean, of course the what do you call it? The optimization on PC could have still been better, but yeah, if it wins game of the year, I can say for me so far, yeah, it just does a lot, right? In my opinion. So for me, it's unless something comes out that just feels like it gives me and values my time as much as that. I don't know. Like it's a $60 game that I got for $40, and it has all this, and there's like no microtransaction or DLC in sight so far. Almost everything else is going to either be shorter or it's going to be like something season pass. But I say well, usually like I don't have a PlayStation, so I can't play like what's coming out on there. I know what isn't there like a Kirby game coming? So
Yeah.
that's a I haven't played a
End of the
Kirby
month.
game. Jesus Christ! All these games. What's up with March having so many games? I might download the demo though, try it
Yeah.
out. But the game is really great so far. So I've also been playing. Well, I played King of Fighters for like 5 minutes because they released like the DLC characters at like 1 a.m. for some reason, and didn't say anything. It was just they're here. Like, but on Steam, of course, you go in and like, they're not here on Steam. It's like, yeah, we're having an issue. It was Steam. I think it was a Steam issue. You had to wait. I'm like, all right, going back to sleep. So
When is Steam not having issues, to be honest? It's like once a day at least they're having issues.
sometimes, yeah. um, Also this week I've kind of been playing Pinball FX3. Of course, it's just a pinball game where you can download a bunch of tables. You have to pay for them, of course. That's mostly because I plan on at some point getting an At Games Pinball Legends machine, and then one of these computers, maybe, probably the streaming one. I'm plugging up to that one where you can like play games like you can use the screen for that will be for the pinball and use it as a screen. So you can use that and then set the buttons for like the bumpers and whatnot and play like other pinball games on there. So it's pretty much you have like a set of tables that the game already gives you, and then the ones that I have on like Pinball FX that you can get on there and just play them off of there, which would be pretty cool. It costs a lot of money though, like $750 and $100 with shipping and handling, and then there's a $50 thing I'd have to buy so that I can get like a thing to plug it into the back, and so like the graphics and the scoreboard can be on the back scoreboard for when I'm using the cabinet mode. That I would have to get a code to do that, which I mean I'm fine with that, but stuff costs money. Why? But that's mostly
Why?
what I've been into. But I haven't played it like too much because they're supposed to be releasing an early access for one like this month, and we don't know when. I feel like it's going to get delayed because you have like a pinball show they do like every month or so, The one for this month hasn't happened. They haven't said anything about it. They've been pretty quiet about it. So I'm like, I'm going to assume the early access probably got delayed, which they really need to work on their communication because they've already pissed off a good portion of the fan base when they announced the new one, which is just going to be called Pinball FX because forget calling it 4. So with this one, like the tables that you bought, there's like 100 tables on the third one. None of them are moving over, and it's going to be exclusive on Epic Game Store for 1 year. And so they made a lot of people upset. The table's not moving over, I can understand, because they're doing like a new engine, new physics, and they're adding ray tracing and a bunch of other stuff. So I can kind of get why they're like, yeah, you have to pay for it again because it's not like in the same engine and everything. But it's like you kind of didn't help when you said, okay, so if you want the Steam version, which is just a lot easier to work with, especially since Steam has it to where you can just set your buttons up a lot easier if you are using like one of the home arcade things for pinball, you have to wait. And for the early access, they haven't even mentioned if it's going to have like a cabinet mode yet. Like there's still like so many questions that people have, and I'm like, for a game that's about to be in early access that's supposed to be coming out this month, y'all a little bit quiet. So I don't know. But outside of all that, that's mostly been what I've been playing this week.
Iconic. Well, definitely let us know in the comments, in the chat, if you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching on YouTube, however you're watching, on our socials, you can let us know what you've been playing, what you've been up to, and what games you're looking forward to, because we're kind of almost wrapping up Q1 of 2022, and there's still a lot of releases that allegedly are coming out this year, and presentations that will take place for sure sometime in the spring, and we definitely have a busy summer as well. I know that there's a lot of shit coming out this summer. But it should be a good year for games for sure. We already have gotten so many that I'm like, oh, I'll never keep up.
Yeah.
I'll just never keep up. So, if you want us to keep up with these game releases better, make sure to support us on here on the Just Gaming Tingz channel, on our own individual channel, so we can get free keys to play all those games, okay? Because games are expensive.
Or buy them for us outright.
Hey, listen, find our wish lists, find us. Where can they find us, Koga, actually? Well, you specifically.
Yeah, we almost ran into that wall again like last week. You can find me here on Twitch and Twitter at Koga_Jangles. Yes, still on a hiatus, so same as that.
Yeah.
Where can we find you, Ruby?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. You can find me on Ko-Fi, on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube at Project Ruby. Yeah, I do a variety of games and a variety of things. Currently doing a Final Fantasy challenge. Coming soon, I'm going to be playing Barbie Explorer, representing the year of 2001. And a lot of other shenanigans that you can look forward to over those channels. What about you, Spin?
Well, you can find us at Spinblend on Twitch, Twitter, and Ko-Fi. You can find our soap shop at spinsoapcafe.com. And you can find us on YouTube at Lindblend. And also, we're 2 Pokemon games behind. If Mr. Nintendo is watching, I have not played Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, or Arceus.
Me neither, Mr. Nintendo. I'm
Mr.
waiting.
Nintendo.
Please.
Hello, this is Mr. Nintendo. Well, I understand that you can buy them for $59.99. You can probably find a pack for $119.99. Feel free to get them physical or digital. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Great.
I'm gonna use this opportunity, Mr. Nintendo. If you have a sugar daddy kink, I will be your sugar baby. Anyway.
Unfortunately, that is
Nintendo,
not
I'll
child
send
friendly.
pics.
Anyway, so I'm not gonna get sponsored by Nintendo anytime soon. That's fine. You can find us at Just Gaming Tingz everywhere. I mean, you're here listening, so follow us on other socials if you want. We're only on Twitter and YouTube, we don't have a custom URL on YouTube, so subscribe to us over there so that we can get that custom URL, because YouTube for some reason works like that. Well, that's it for this episode. Thank you. We ended the episode almost as cursed as we started it. So, you know, if you made it this far, I'm so proud of you. We will be back next week for another episode of the Just Gaming Tingz podcast, where we will bring you an all queer perspective on gaming news, our perspectives on what we think about recent topics and such, what we're playing and all that stuff. Definitely follow our fellow co-hosts that were not able to make it to today's episode. All their links will be in the chat, in the description, not the chat, description.
In the panels on Twitch.
Yes, the panels and the descriptions, the show notes, whatever you call them on the respective platform you listen to or watch this from. Okay.
They're out there.
Yes. Also, happy daylight savings. I totally wasn't almost late to this episode. Yep. Okay, see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.